Hi and hello, my name is Cole McCormack and I am the writer, director, composer of Body Bag. This is my most recent short horror film, and I think for a lot of you who know me just for my Godzilla content, this upload may have come as a bit of a surprise. But I am first and foremost a filmmaker. I initially started this channel as a means of showcasing my original feature films and short films. I really only did movie reviews and movie analysis videos later on because I kind of realized, well, you know, I want to post more on the channel and I want to talk about other movies just because I have so much passion and love for filmmaking. So I guess here we are now. I actually have an audience and I'm not just screaming into the void. So let's talk about Body Bag. I started working on Body Bag in January of 2024. It had been, at that point, about a month since I'd put out Wayward Sons, and I was just itching to make something. For those of you that may not know, Wayward Sons is my third feature film. It was like 3 years in the making. And so I kind of enjoyed this little month-long grace period of not having any big projects in the pipeline and just taking a break and enjoying myself. So some of you may know that I live in Wisconsin, and in Wisconsin we get heavy snowfall. It borders on being like a blizzard every year. So for this winter, it was really bad, and I was like, damn, I should come up with a cool short film idea because I never really film short films in the snow for a variety of reasons. For starters, most of the time when that happens, I'm having classes at university, so I'm busy. But also, I don't like dealing with the snow because if I drop something, it's going to get damaged. So already there's that inherent risk of, oh God, my equipment's going to get completely wrecked. I really don't want to do this, but I was just itching to make something. I brainstormed some ideas on what I wanted to actually do and what story I wanted to tell, and I had this idea of someone dragging a body bag through the woods. They take a breather for a moment, they look down, the body bag is gone, and then when they look up, they see it standing up a couple feet away. And as soon as I kind of had that visual image in my brain, I'm like, okay, that's neat, let's build something around that. So the idea that I had was this sort of SCP type organization, but not exactly at the government level, it's more just like exterminators. And this guy is tasked with getting rid of this body bag, and he's told basically, you know, keep your eyes on it, don't lose track of it. And he's kind of a recruit, so he doesn't really think much of it. He's like a newbie. And so as he drags it out, he takes his eyes off of it because he wasn't exactly thinking literally. And that's when he realizes, oh, this is like a weeping angel type thing. And the more I blink, the closer it's going to get to me. So once I had the story down, I was like, cool, let's film this. I called up my buddy Jesse, who has been in a few of my short films. He was in Career Minor Leaguer, he was in Bank, he was specifically the Red Robber. And I just wanted to work with him again on this because it had been a while since we've worked together on a short film. And I basically said to him, okay, one of us is going to act in this, the other one's going to be behind the camera. Who wants to do it? And knowing that it was like negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside, he was like, you know what, I'll do the camera. And I'm like, okay, fine. Which didn't really matter either way because I was bundled up, but it was still pretty cold. The first shot we actually filmed was the super wide shot of me dragging the body across the field. Now, the body itself was made out of just a trash bag, 2 specifically, and I just shoved pillows inside of it and then sort of formed it to make a body silhouette. It was very clumsy and it didn't really look too good when it was standing up, but when it was being dragged, it looked pretty solid. I do wish it was slightly longer, but again, we had our limitations with how big the garbage bags were. With that long wide shot, I knew that I had to really play it up because I'm so far away. So when I fell, I really just slammed myself on the ground, and it sucked. Like I said, it was negative 20 degrees out, and I was already wearing just like jeans and carpenter boots and like a Carhartt jacket. So when I got up, I immediately had snow just going all down my body, and I was just freezing. And on top of that, you know, I'm kind of a fat fuck. So when trying to run all the way back up the hill to get to Jesse where he had the camera, I was so out of breath I couldn't even breathe, and I thought I was gonna die. So we went back inside, I took a good breather for a while, and then I realized how physically unfit I am and that I need to hit the treadmill. But besides that point, eventually we looked over the footage, we realized it was solid, and that was until I actually started editing that I realized, ooh, not a fan of the shot. So there were these branches and a bush that was sort of at the top and bottom of the frame, and it looked really rough and unprofessional, and it didn't feel as big as I wanted it to be. So I went in and I edited out the bush and the tree branches, and it turned out actually really good. It does look a bit phony still to me, but I'm just so hypercritical with my own work that I kind of realized, you know what? It's never going to be perfect. I just need to move on. We went out to the woods near my house and we got to filming. And we kind of tackled everything in a very simple way where we would film a wide shot, a medium shot, and a close-up with every sort of action. I don't really use scripts when I make my short horror films. That is if they don't have any dialogue, of course. If they have dialogue, there's going to be a script. But for this, it was like, okay, let's kind of just run through the logical shot list in my head, and then we'll film what makes the most sense. So we would just do wide, medium, and close-up for every single action. And this worked for the most part. I'll get into later why this really didn't work, but for the most part, it was smooth sailing from here. Now, that was until we actually had to prop the body bag up, and it looked really bad. Like, really, really bad. At certain points, it wouldn't even work. It would just fall over. So Jesse had to ram a stick through it and then jam it into the ground. And eventually it worked out. Really, only one of the shots was usable. I actually later on would go into After Effects and then crop it out and take the best body bag and then just superimpose it over the one that actually looked decent. Now, there were two main parts of this that were the hardest to deal with. The first being the actual monster itself. I had a few ideas of what I wanted to do, but it took a couple of tries. The first try, I took a fake skull and we just tried to ram it through the actual trash bag, and that looked decent, but it never exactly burst through, and it didn't really work. It wasn't scary, so I was like, eh. In the moment, I kind of kept it for a while, but I was like, we need to reshoot something. So eventually I tried, okay, what if I just put on the body bag, and when I rip it open, I'll have makeup on and stuff and look really scary, and we'll give that a try. So my girlfriend Alana came over, she put the makeup on me, and we gave it a shot, and that also just did not work. A lot of that had to do with the framing, but still, it just, So eventually I realized, well, let's maybe take it back, stop overthinking it, and just reuse a mask that we've already used. So for my short film Spirit, we used this Halloween mask that I bought off of Amazon. And you can barely even see it in that short film, so I figured, you know what, let's just reuse it for this. And that's exactly what I did. I just put the mask on, put a flannel on, put the garbage bag over, and then I just burst through. And after a couple of tries, it turned out really solid, and that's what we went with. Thankfully, too, that day, it was in March, it had snowed randomly, so I was able to kind of keep a consistent continuity throughout, which is really neat. Now, another big problem that I had were the close-ups on my eyes. The first time I tried it, it was sort of out of focus and would only focus on just the edge of my nose, and the second time I tried it, it just wasn't right with the lighting and everything, and I just wasn't a fan of the lens. So eventually, I tried it for a third time, and I got it. Everything was in focus, it looked great. The only issue being is that you could see the reflection of the camera in my eyes. That about wraps everything up with the making of Body Bag. It took me a long time to make this short film for a variety of reasons, technical issues, but also this was really when my channel started to blow up. In fact, we filmed this 5 days before I did my Dr. Skipper video, and that's what really propelled my channel into having tons and tons of new viewers. So for me, there was added pressure because it was oh my god, I have to deliver for this new audience because, I'll humiliate myself if this is terrible and it'll be awful and no one's going to want to watch my movies ever. I didn't really have that pressure before, and I think part of that kind of got to my head, and I didn't take as many risks as I maybe should have. I mean, last year in 2023, I made 12 short films. I made one short film a month. And this is the longest I've ever gone without making a movie, period. It's been 6 months since I put out my last project. So I'm going to try to avoid this mindset and just make stuff that I want to make. I have a few more filmmaking projects in the pipeline. I'm planning on shooting my next feature film in, I want to say, late May, early June. And that's going to be a found footage horror movie. I'll give more production updates on that to channel members. Again, if you want to hear more updates about these projects, become a channel member. It's only $1.99 a month. That feature film should be out on Halloween of this year. I know it's a bit of a ways out, but it's a pretty big project. Beyond that, I'm also filming another feature film titled The Gang Stalkers. It's an action comedy, sort of John Wick-esque movie mixed with like dark humor. It's kind of out there, but I'm really excited to make this. I've been working on the script now for a while, and we're hoping to start filming this summer 2024. And estimated release date, I don't even know, because that's going to be such a massive project. Regardless, thank you so much to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate all of the support. It means the absolute world. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.